Hello, everybody. So, there's been this rumor going around that I sexually abused a 14-year-old. Completely not true. Completely not true. All these people have are out-of-context screenshots of me where there was absolutely no evidence of any sort of manipulation or coercion, like, at all.
Sorry, Amos, it's been a hot minute. I haven't been able to get back to you. So, to give people context, the last video on this topic I did was called Return to Cell Block C with Amos Yee. Dear Amos, we provided the girl and her accusations. We provided the screenshots. If they're out of context, Amos, I would be glad to sit down in-stream with you so that you could explain each one. In fact, I insist.
Shots are from an anonymous source from a supposed 14-year-old, which there's absolutely no evidence that this person is a 14-year-old. Like the pictures that this supposed 14-year-old sent to me, she essentially looks exactly the same age as me, and I'm like 20 years old.
Amos, about the part here about you acknowledging she's 14, you seem right as rain with going along believing she's 14. Now, legally, as I understand it, for example, if you bought baking powder that you perceived to be cocaine, even if it wasn't, you would legally be in trouble. According to these screenshots, you seem pretty okay with her being 14, so regardless if she's 14, 18, or 100.
In fact, this person actually looks older and actually sounds much more mature than me, and acts more mature than me too. There's absolutely no evidence that she sent nudes to me, and if she did send nudes to me and she actually is a 14-year-old, that actually means that she'll be technically sending child porn, which means she'll get arrested as well.
Dear Amos, I'm a pretty juvenile person. That doesn't mean if I meet someone under the age of consent and they're just a little bit more mature, that doesn't mean I'm good to go. That's not how things work. As for child porn, Amos, are you really trying to use a verified 14-year-old as a human shield to keep yourself out of jail? You ever see those movies where someone holds up a hostage, trying to keep someone to back off? Are you expecting me to shoot through the hostage? Because I've got some bad news. I really don't have to. Bree, that's the girl, the online alias of the 14-year-old. Now, naturally, I'm not going to include the girl's state, but I do know it. Redacting the state name punishes teen sexting under its law against electronic transmitting sexually depictions of children. Under this law, it is illegal for one minor to electronically send an image of someone younger than 18 years old to another minor. That includes images of the sender, recipient, or another underage person. Minors have a defense to prosecution when the images are solely of the sender and recipient were sent within a dating relationship and both parties are not more than 2 years apart of age, including if one party is 18 or older. Now, that's interesting, Amos. Unfortunately, unless you can prove that Bree is within so many years of you, you're shit out of luck. Let's continue. Adults who sex with minors may be prosecuted for distributing sexual images to a minor, possessing or distributing child pornography, or sexual performance by a minor. These crimes are usually punished as felonies, described below. Again, I'm removing the state name. An adult who sexts with a minor may be charged under one of the several state laws mentioned above, depending on whether the adult sent, received, or solicited the sexts. The penalties increases if the adult distributed those images to others as child pornography. Penalties may include a fine up to $10,000 or 20 years in prison, or both. As for the above statement, I omitted the parts about bullying as I didn't think that they were prudent to our case, Amos. Or rather, your case. An adult punished for an offense involving sexting with a minor may be required, in addition to the fines and prison term described above, to register as a sex offender. And although it is less probable that a juvenile will have to register as a sex offender, it is possible that you should discuss with your attorney. It is possible that poor Bree, at most, as I understand the law, as I am not a lawyer, would have to, in the end, register on the sex offender watch list. But if I'm reading the statute correctly, it is unlikely. But even so, let's say that Bree is forced to do such. Let's say that Bree ends up on said watch list. And then she simply has to explain that some pervert coerced her to give pictures of herself. I'm assuming to future employees or neighbors. I can't assume that Bree would truly get blacklisted, provided it be some gross miscarriage of justice, even if she was forced to register. But reading off Bree's statute, that's the worst case scenario, which according to the statute is, and I quote, unlikely.
Which means she'll get arrested as well. The laws are kind of fucked up. Now, I did have a friendship with this person that is supposedly 14 years old, and I can understand why she is now saying that I abused her. Because although I didn't do anything illegal or anything abusive, I was kind of a massive dick.
I'm still waiting for the part where you decide to give context to the screenshots, including this one where Bree tells you her age. You didn't deny any of this. You simply said that they were out of context. Amos, if Bree is an adult trying to frame you for being a child molester, I would not take kindly for people trying to use the system in such a manner if that is true. You have a duty and responsibility to step forward if that is in fact the case. I mean, sure, you're a douche, but if Bree really is an adult and fucking with you, what if the next person she goes after, assuming your alternative version is correct, doesn't deserve this kind of BS? Which again, you haven't done anything to prove.
She is now saying that I abused her. Because although I didn't do anything illegal or anything abusive, I was kind of a massive dick. Like, for example, there's one time she wanted red hair. And so I made this comment that was just so fucking prickish. I said, you want red hair to cover up how insecure you are. It's just... So little prickish things like this that I did to her that I really regret, and I literally said sorry to her already for. Actually, not only was I a dick to her, there was actually a 3-month period at the start of this year where I was a really huge dick to many of my friends. I was just saying really dickish things. The biggest problem I had was that whenever I voiced disagreement, I would do it in a really toxic manner. Like, I would constantly just spew insults, call people like fucking stupid or autistic. It's like if you spew like 1 to 2 insults here or there, it's fine. But like if you spew like 20 to 35, it's like, it's fucking toxic.
Amos, if this was literally anything else, I'd charge you for your Tumblr speak on your toxicity. Alternatively, you could just surround yourself with adults. No one have to worry about this nonsense. You know, people with a leveled playing field. I mean, it's not like you're some kind of superstar. Amos, you're merely the intelligentsia of the pedophilia community.
So why is it that she's saying that I sexually abused her right now, when the most I ever did to her was just be kind of a dick to her? It's because she has this boyfriend right now that really fucking hates me, and that boyfriend is pressuring her into threatening me that I sexually abused her. That boyfriend, by the way, is above the age of consent, and if I'm not mistaken, actually fucked her.
I talked to Bree about this, and she said she had no goddamn idea what the hell you were talking about. I'm sure not dating Bree, so if there's someone else that's abusing a child, Amos, I'll be glad to sit down and talk with you and hear all of what you have to say.
If she is actually 14, I'm not sure that she is, but if she is, she technically, by Antai's logic, got raped. In which case you probably should care about that adult lover of hers first before me.
Oh, I can multitask, Amos. Send me a DM on Twitter. I'm more than happy to go after anyone. I'm more than happy to go after any adult sleeping with a 14-year-old.
But I think nobody's going to get into any legal trouble. I hope nobody gets into any legal trouble. Because there's no evidence that she's 14, and if, let's say, an adult did penetrate her, I'm pretty sure she consented.
Bree has sat down and talked with the police. As for penetration, she never said that you met up in real life. Sexting with a minor is illegal in your state and Bree's. If I'm not mistaken, as for pressing charges, Bree's parents would also be able to do so and have.
The story this anonymous source shared is already dubious as it is. Like, it's this, like, what, this 14-year-old is a map hunter, and she sneaked into my pro-pedo server to try to expose me. So then I manipulated her into getting nudes, but she sneaked into the server to try to manipulate me, so how could I have manipulated her? And there's no evidence of any nudes.
I've shown your nudes, well, censored as much as YouTube allows me. They exist. That said, the story about a map hunter falling into the clutches of a pedophile, does that sound weird? Or at the very least, the stuff of a cringy fan fiction? My answer is simple. When it comes to pursuing dangerous online predators, I strongly encourage kids to leave that to the 18 and up crowd. Amos, if I'm wrong about you, and this most sensitive of topics, you need to come forward and set the record straight, because you didn't deny the screenshots where you acknowledged that she's 14.
Really goofy story, because all the claims of sexual abuse is just not true. And look, I know this person, and I might have said some dickish things to her, but nothing to put me in like years of prison for. My gosh. This person, if you're watching, I'm willing to clear any differences we have between us if you ever private message me. And look, if she's actually a minor, I'm not sure that she is, but if she is actually a minor, I'm willing to talk to the parents as well. Because that's the thing, the most I ever did to her was say some hurtful dickish things, but nothing that is illegal or abusive.
Amos, online, you are the face, the mouthpiece of the minor attracted community. You are asking a 14-year-old to come talk to you. Like, without even name calling, can you understand why that's not going to happen? I'll be glad to come talk to you. This isn't even about a debate. Did you send a 14-year-old your nudes? Did you receive nudes from a 14-year-old? Are these screenshots real? Is there a reason that you bent over backwards not to answer any of these questions?
And I'm sure that if we talk things through now in private, we'll be pretty cool now. So yeah, any bad behavior I had towards this supposed 14-year-old or any of my friends, I'm extremely sorry. And also, I already directly apologized to these people already, but I'll say sorry right now more in public. I'm sorry, okay? I'm really sorry. And I think that friends who've interacted with me recently would tell you that I've really changed, so. So yeah, I didn't sexually abuse a 14-year-old. The most I did was have dickish behavior, but not.
No one gives a shit about how you put a flaming pile of dog poop on your best friend's doorstep, metaphorically speaking. Amos, I don't even care if you made fun of Bree in the most douchebag way possible. How did Bree get your nudes? That's the only thing I want to hear. Well, additionally, so forth and so on. Distribution, handoff, your nudes, their nudes. Anything about nudes in a child. Want to hear about that, Amos? We're over 4 minutes into the call, and I'm still waiting for an explanation.
But let's talk about what this really is about, okay? Let's talk about what this really is about. Anti-pedophiles are butthurt that they cannot win in a debate with me on pedophilia, so they have to resort to personally attack me to make themselves feel better. That's how it is. Literally, this rumor of me abusing a 14-year-old blew up the moment I fucking bodied Combat Wombat on a debate on pedophilia.
I didn't know who the fuck Combat Wombat was when I started looking into you when Bree approached me. To be fair, I'd like to thank Combat Wombat for being a Chad, or at the very least, a responsible fucking human being. That shouldn't be seen as above and beyond. But all the same, thank you, Combat. Thank you to Mr. Medeker, thank you to Count Dankula, thank you to Shoe on Head and Irate Bear, as well as Cass Warfox, intentionally or unintentionally, who kept their eyes on this topic, no matter how big or small. I wish I could say the same for Logic, but we're 1 month later, and he couldn't nut up to take responsibility for someone that he helped put in the public eye.
That's just the thing. It's a fucking ad hominem. If you can't fucking win me in a debate, you fucking personally attack me. You need to understand. Even if I did sexually abuse someone, I didn't, but even if I did, that doesn't mean I'm wrong on pedophilia. That doesn't mean when I say that most pedophiles are harmless and I provide citations that back it up, that doesn't mean that I'm wrong, even if I sexually abuse someone. I know it's human nature to think that someone is less credible with their opinion when they themselves have personal flaws, but if you claim that something is less true just because of the person who's saying it, then it's a very elementary logical fallacy. It's just not true. Something is true regardless of the person saying it.
Only I'm not debating you, Amos. I don't particularly care what you think. If you molested a child, you can be right as long as you're inside of a jail cell. For all I give a crap. I was content to ignore you when I thought that you were just some edgelord. I might have even continued doing so because, Lord knows, you had enough eyes on you for your own viewpoints. It's not as if you were going to go unchallenged. But not nearly enough people are talking about how you preyed on a kid and then never addressed it.
That's the thing that Logic did. That's the thing that Jeff Holiday did. They could not beat me in a debate on pedophilia, so they attacked me personally in videos by highlighting personal flaws of mine that I had in the past that I already said sorry for. Count Dankula too tweeted that he didn't want to debate me again, knowing that he'll be fucking slaughtered. I was so inexperienced before, and I was already beating him. If I debate him right now for a third time, I'll fucking destroy him, and he knows it. This is incredibly weak.
Actually, logic said that you were an edgelord. And you know what, Amos? You're right. You're right and he's wrong. You're a pedophile, and logic should reach out to his audience and tell people that you flashed a kid with your dick. A 14-year-old kid.
This is incredibly insecure. Fine, slander and personally attack me as much as you want to try to make yourself feel better, but just know that doesn't make you right. Anybody who wants to debate me on pedophilia, contact my email, kinoishere@gmail.com. I obviously can't entertain everyone, but anybody who has a sizable following or who's cool enough, I'm willing to entertain. You guys wanted a pedophile to embarrass on stream, but instead the pedophile destroyed you, and you cannot take it, so you're so fucking butthurt. Place me in prison. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. But that doesn't mean that pedophiles aren't going to rise up and get their rights. Sayonara, Minasan.
So are you Chinese or Japanese?
I did reach out to you, Amos, and Combat Wombat pointed this out to you, Amos. I want to invite Amos to have a seat. If these accusations are false, I'll apologize. Hell, Amos, I'll toss you $100 if you can definitively clear your name as far as Bree goes. Again, normally, I'd get drawn into this debate, but I don't have to. If I'm slandering you, sue me. And Amos, thank you. Fuck you. Bye.